Hey, everybody. I don't know if my mic is suddenly going quiet, but this is Kurt Francom here. Sorry, am I suddenly going quiet? I won't touch my mic. With Troy Dunn. Oh, boy. Now my computer's yelling at me. Troy, how are you?
Yeah, great fun. By the way, you sound great. No,
Oh,
no
good.
mic problems. Yeah.
Good, good. Well, there's always technical difficulties right when you hit go live, but we got people coming in here, tuning in live, and people are excited this time of year. You got there's a lot of summer things going on, but everybody's counting down the days to the the quiet, relaxing Alaskan experience. And not that everybody on this call is going to be, on board with us, though they should seriously consider it. But how are you feeling about as we count down the days to this awesome experience?
You know that the hotter it gets, the more excited I'm getting. It's
Right.
so hot right now. Yes, because we're going at what I think is, for me, is my favorite time of year to visit Alaska. Because it's just at the end of the warm weather and starting to cool down, and it's September, which September in Alaska is like, October, November here. It's beautiful. It's a nice, you kind of described it. It's a nice energy. An Alaskan cruise is so relaxing and so soothing. For those who've never been on a cruise, I don't really have a great comparison. But if you've been on a cruise, you've probably been to a warm climate, the Caribbean or Mediterranean or Mexican Riviera. Those cruises they're fun. We
Yeah.
love them. We do them. You and I have traveled that way together. But oh my gosh, an Alaskan cruise, it's just a whole nother vibe. And for one, there's hardly any kids, hardly any kids at all, because they're in school. And so since we're grown-ups, we get to go even during the school time. And we're not really out like in the Caribbean. At times you're in rough seas and you're moving through the waters and there's a current. When you're cruising along the coastline of Alaska, it's like you can just hear the water kind of splashing against the sides of the boat calmly. And, if you see a whale along the side of the ship and it actually does one of those, I don't know, there's a word for it, when it slaps its tail, there's a name for that. You hear it, like you hear the slap of the tail, like it's that quiet out there. So yeah, I just love it. It's going to be so amazing. And this particular ship that we're going on,
Anthem of the Seas, right?
Thank you. Has an award-winning chef. I know specifically who it's going to be. And so we're going to eat good and and just get to hang out. An Alaskan cruise, Kurt, it's fun. Even if you went by yourself, Alaska is an amazing cruise. But you can go with some people because there's a lot of people who are coming with friends and spouses. But because we've worked really hard to try to keep the group small and intimate, we're all going to go home with brand new friends. Promise you that. Maybe an enemy or two, but for the most part, brand new friends, because it's going to be such a beautiful shared experience. So I know that's a long-winded answer, but I could not be more excited about Alaska.
Yeah. Just comparing it to other cruise experiences that we've done, Alaska is different because, when you're in the Caribbean or even along the Mexican coast, sometimes there's nothing to really see when you're at sea, right? Where in Alaska, there's a lot to see even on the sea days as you're sitting on the deck or out on an observation deck, right?
No, and not only that, and I don't like to brag to people that we're doing the best version of an Alaskan cruise, but we are. And here's why.
Yeah.
Because I'll run into people and be like, oh yeah, we did an Alaskan cruise and we loved it. And I'll be like, oh really? Where did you go? Like, because most people will tell you they did a northern or a southern. That's just Alaskan cruise talk. We did a northern, which means they landed in probably Seattle or someplace close. And then they went up to probably Anchorage or somewhere up there. And then they flew home. Or they fly into Anchorage and then they ride that ship down and they get off in Seattle and go home. We are going up and back, up and back. It's like 2 Alaskan cruises. And so the reason that's really amazing is because whether you are on land side or seaside as the ship goes, you are going to see, you get to see and experience both sides. Does that make sense? So when we're along the land side, if that's where your room is at, you get to see all the cool stuff on the shore. the bears eating salmon and all. Sorry, I got to plug my laptop in. And if you're on the ocean side, you get to see the whales and all the things. And there'll be guides like on the speakers of the ship that will call stuff out. They'll be like, whale, 10 o'clock. And everybody runs, and then the ship tips. And that person.
It doesn't really tip.
It doesn't actually tip. No, it's not even possible. But anyway, because of the way we're sailing, you will get both worlds. You'll get to be the land side one time, and you get to be the sea side the other time, going up or coming back. So if you're only going to go to Alaska one time on a cruise, this one takes care of all of it. You get to do both.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we encourage those who are tuning in live, feel free to put some comments in the chat box or in the comment section, ask some questions, some thoughts, share about your experiences, help us really get people excited about this Alaskan experience. And it's going to be awesome. And, you mentioned the wildlife. When you go to Alaska, you just never know what wildlife you're going to see, but the chances of seeing it is higher than really any other type of experience, right?
Oh my gosh. Well, just statistically speaking, as we all were taught in school, Alaska, second big states, Alaska is gigantic, and Alaska has more shoreline than all the other states who have shoreline in the United States combined. That's how much shoreline there is. And if you are wildlife in Alaska, that's where you go to grab food and to drink and to catch fish, because sometimes we're along the salty waters, but a lot of it's the fresh water draining into it. What do they call it? Brackish? Is that the right word? Where salt water and fresh water meet. Anyway, as you can tell, I will not be your nature guide.
Nice.
Anyway, so it's not like, oh my gosh, I hope we get to see something. This sounds crazy, but by day 6, probably, you will have seen so much wildlife that when somebody tells you there's a bear out there, I'm not even sure you'll turn and look. I don't know. You'll be like, okay, but I'm hungry.
Yeah.
So there's lots of wildlife. I think it's Skagway that has the highest population of bald eagles in the world. So if the only bald eagle you've ever seen is in a zoo, brace yourself, because they're going to fly around like seagulls fly around the beach. They're beautiful. And they're not really going to fly around in flocks like that. They're all very territorial, but you will see them in all their majestic glory, and you'll get amazing photos and pictures. It will be awesome.
Awesome. Well, and those that are listening live, if you'll give this live stream a thumbs up, that helps it find those that maybe forgot or that should be here that aren't tuning in. So that'd be really helpful. Here's an interesting comment, Troy. I think it's Tony. Says, my husband and I were on Renew 22 and 23. I think those were both the cruises we were involved in. And we are really excited about this Alaska cruise. Troy, we hope you're wearing your red shoes. Will you be packing your red shoes, Troy?
Wow, that is a throwback memory. Do I own those red shoes? I don't know. Now I'm going to have to come up with an even better pair than the red shoes, just for Tony.
I've seen you walk out on stage in all sorts of different shoes, so there will be probably some exciting shoes.
I will need to have something. Yeah. By the way, challenge accepted. Just something.
All right, there it is. We're excited to hang out, Tony.
Yeah,
really good.
I'm glad they're coming back. So they've cruised with you and I a few times.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Cool. And that's the best part of these, when you see old friends that they're your cruise buddies, right? So
yeah, and I think that's probably, can I just tell you for a second, that is actually the vision behind the whole creation of Sea Saints. It wasn't, we're not a travel agency. I don't know if people know that. We're not a travel agency. We're not travel agents. We are strictly a group of people who love really high level. And by high level, I don't mean expensive. I mean just the quality of the experience. We like high level experiences with quality human beings. That's it. Yeah. And so we're like, well, how could we help increase the odds of having that level of experience? Like, well, I don't know. Let's gather our own community. Let's keep it small. Not that we've kicked anybody out or turned anybody away, but we don't market Sea Saints widely, if that's a fair way of saying it. And most of our Sea Saints are here by referral from a friend.
Yeah.
So all we want to do is all get together, get to know one another, become lifelong friends, grow old together, traveling the world. And
That's
we'd love to do it
pretty
on as
simple.
many cool different cruise ships as possible, which is why we're Sea Saints. But we are, I'm not, I was told not to make any announcements about any other trips. So I'll just be vague and say, um, Sea Saints are planning a lot of fun adventures coming up. There may be something over towards Europe. There's a wackadoodle one. Wackadoodle's a medical term, I think. That is really early to say, and it's not good. That one probably. Anyway, we're really looking at an Antarctica trip, which is, I mean, it's not even on most people's bucket list because you can't fathom it being possible. But we figured how to do it in a really epic, safe, and exciting way. So we're working on that.
Yeah.
Cool. The coolest thing about Sea Saints, Kurt, is that what we're trying to do, everybody who joins Sea Saints, because it's a members only group, doesn't cost any money to join. Just to be a member, to be a Sea Saint, you just have to go sign up. But when you sign up, there's a question in there, to ask you where your bucket list places are. Those are the trips we're making. So if you're like, oh, I've always wanted to this or that, then put that down. We have a lot of people who want to go into the Scotland, Ireland area. We get a lot of people asking about Australia. So anyway, for those of you who are coming with Kurt and I, and Jason, he's my business partner, who you guys will all know and love when you meet him in Alaska. And who else we bring in? Kenneth Cope.
Yeah.
And Dan Wilson.
Dan Wilson, yep. And the GIF.
The Gifster. Anyway, those of you who are coming with us, by the time we all get off the ship in Seattle to go home, we will all be friends. And then you'll see that next quiet little announcement come to you in your Sea Saints account telling you where our next trip is. And for those of you who want to, we'll just keep traveling and having fun.
That's right.
That's what Sea Saints is.
So we got some, for instance, a question like this will transition us into, what will the onboard schedule be like? And I'm sure you would love to know that yourself, Troy, but there's a lot of details that go into that between now and then. But maybe just give us an update, like what's the update on where the trip's at right now, what you're putting together, how the ship's coming together and the planning.
Yes. So now that we're inside the 60-day window, it makes it easier for the cruise line to make some hardcore commitments to us on the things we've requested and scheduled. But Jason, who's driving that piece of information, actually, I don't want to manage expectations poorly. He's about to send out something that will give you the rundown of the schedule. We know that Kenneth has been gracious enough to bless us with 2 concerts. That all by itself, I'm looking forward to. Kenneth, we'll definitely get a chance to hear the Kenneth Cope hit songs and classics that all of us know and can sing along to. But my understanding from Kenneth is there'll be a little bit of a surprise in some of the concert performance. We're going to get to see, aside him, that I don't think anybody else has gotten to see, doing some songs maybe nobody's ever heard Kenneth do. So that's going to be way cool. I know that you are putting on a special event. I know that the GIF is putting on a special event. At some point, everybody will be bored to tears having to sit through a session with me. And then we'll get back to cool things with Tim Wilson. So there's multiple events happening. Jason, who is the wizard of creating the world's greatest experiences at sea, has been very careful that all of our Sea Saint private events, and they are private events. If you have friends who just booked themselves on the cruise but didn't book through Sea Saints, they won't be allowed in anything, sadly. It doesn't sound very friendly, but there'll be a clipboard at the door. Everybody will be checking names to make sure that everyone who came stays, and those who didn't don't enter. So all the events are private, the concert's private, everything's private. And we will, what was I going to tell you about that? Anyway, Jason made sure, I'll make sure Jason gets the credit because he's the brains. Jason made sure that they don't conflict with any of the big events happening on the ship. So they are kind of carefully woven in between the big shows that the ship is doing, some of the wildlife guides that are coming on board to teach us about cool stuff in Alaska. We're not conflicting with any of that. When we pull into port in, Sitka and Skagway and Juneau and Victoria, you won't miss an event by getting off the ship and going into port and doing great things. So everything's scheduled to make sure that you can maximize this cruise. There's two things we're about to release besides the schedule. So we are putting together some private excursions. We have put together some private excursions, and we're just waiting for Royal Caribbean to give us the thumbs up that we got the spaces we requested. So as soon as those come out, which I thought we would have before this call today, but they're coming shortly, then we'll tell you. They are limited, but we're a pretty intimate group. So I think most of us will be able to get on some of them and we all go together, hopefully. So we'll tell you that. If you're like, oh no, Troy, I already booked all my excursions for all, it doesn't matter. It's okay. Royal Caribbean's super cool about letting you cash in one excursion to pick up another one. So it's not a big deal. No problem. And then the other thing I've gotten a couple of emails about, by the way, did I apologize for my voice? This is not normally how I sound.
You're going to get a different version of Troy in September. So
yes, this is my laryngitis version. Laryngitis, Kurt, that's the
there
word
it is.
Trying to think of. He was like, are you sick? I'm not sick. I lost this voice on Saturday. Too much World Cup screaming.
Yeah.
Anyway, we do have a limited line of limited edition merch. We're not pushing it. We're not trying to put you to buy it. Everybody gets mad when we don't have it. So if you want your own Sea Saints swag, which is certainly what Jason and I, here's my dogs scaring the Amazon guy. We will be sending out the information on that merchandise. There's also a limited edition Christmas ornament. That's always me. I love Christmas.
Yeah, we do the same thing.
We have we have a normal Christmas tree, if that can be called normal. Although it looks like, because so much of our kids and grandkids stuff is on it, it looks a little more like a garage sale, but it is a beautiful Christmas tree. But we have a second tree, a smaller one we call our travel tree. And so there's ornaments on there from every place we've ever been. So I always make sure that our events include an ornament. So there will be a special limited edition Sea Saints Alaska ornament. Anyway, all that, the merch, the excursions, the schedule, that's all forthcoming. It may even come all in one big email. I'm not sure how Jason's planning it, but that's coming forth. And other than that, I would say just keep getting excited.
Yeah, and the merch is always cool. It's always, even on the BYU cruise, right? There was just this overwhelming, demand for merch, and even people seeing some of the staff's hats and things saying, hey, where'd you get that? And, we didn't have, some things weren't available that the staff were wearing. And so, yeah, merch is a big part of this.
Yeah. And I think it's not that it's not a show-offy thing, but I think it is fun for the rest of the year, especially because you'll be coming back from Alaska. And by the way, the merch is made for cooler weather because we're going to go to Alaska in September. It's not going to be swimming pool beach weather. It's cooler weather. And you'll see that because you'll get an email that tells you how to pack. Not how to pack, what to pack. Although I could use help with the how to pack.
Yeah.
And so what'd be cool is you'll come back from your Alaska Sea Saints trip, and now you have these warm clothes that you can wear all winter in Utah. And people go, wait, you were on that? Yes. I heard Kenneth Cope rapped. No, I don't think he's going to rap. Maybe GIF will rap.
Yeah, yeah, he seems more like the hip hop type. So,
but it is fun to wear the merch after you get home as well. So it's fun. And you're going to go to Alaska. You're going to want to pick up a souvenir or two. Why get a generic one made in China when you have a personalized limited edition one that we're going to all wear on the next trip together?
Yeah, that's right.
We'll be on the next trip going, oh, I'm still wearing what am I wearing now? Oh, this is this is from, unfortunately, my entire wardrobe is cruise clothing from cruises.
Nice.
This is from a wild party at sea. We did a full cruise ship filled with orthodontists.
Nice.
And the wild party at sea is a massive exaggeration. They were very nice people, very calm. If your orthodontist was there, I'm sure he or she was well behaved, because that's all they do.
Right.
Sit around and talk about teeth.
I love it. One thing I recommend, I always like to do sort of at this point of preparing for a cruise is if you go online or go on YouTube and you can type in the name of the ship into YouTube, Anthem of the Seas, and you'll find some are independent bloggers, some are put out by Royal Caribbean themselves, but full ship tours. So if you want to get an idea of like, the pool layout or some restaurant recommendations or just a feel for the, the theater, and this one looks cool because there's some cool tech on board. There's even not that this may concern many of us, but they have robot robot bartenders and one part of the ship. So maybe they have some virgin daiquiris that you can jump on, but some cool stuff. You can kind of get a feel for what the ship is like. Go on some tours there on the website or on YouTube.
Cool. Can I tell you what I love about this itinerary?
Yeah.
So you probably have to suffer through a bit of this when we're on the ship, but my stories. But I spent 5 years of my childhood growing up in Alaska, and so that's when I fell in love with Alaska, and I look for every opportunity to go back. Every opportunity. I love to travel. There's a lot of places I love. I love Switzerland a lot. I will just tell you this right now, without even talking to my partners. There will be a Sea Saints Switzerland. I don't know when, but saying.
You heard it here first, folks.
I'm just telling you, we're going to Switzerland at some point. But anyway, what I love about this particular Alaskan cruise, we chose it based on two things. One, I wanted it to be round trip so that everybody gets to see the land experience from the one side and the sea experience from the other side of the ship. Everybody gets it. And number two, these are my absolute hands down favorite ports for this reason. There's Sitka. So everybody should do some research before they come just to enjoy it a little bit more. And I'm sure there's always people on the ship that the cruise line brings on to kind of enlighten and educate everybody. So those will be some fun sessions. Sitka was before the United States purchased Alaska, Sitka was the capital of Russian America. As everybody remembers, we bought Alaska from Russia. Yeah, I can see Russia from my front porch. Remember all that?
Yeah.
Anyway, Sitka was the capital. Why does that matter now? Because when you guys get off this ship in Sitka, you might feel like you're in Russia. Like so much of the Russian architecture is still there. The buildings are still there. The influence and the colors and the designs. There's some of their food, some of the great places to eat. All of it still very Russian themed. The locals there's still lots and lots of Russian ancestry from people who live in Sitka whose ancestors were Russian and have stayed. And so even the families and the people from Sitka that will come out to greet our cruise ship and do some performances on the dock, on the port, will be doing Russian content and music. And it's fantastic. If you've never been to Russia, you still will not have been to Russia, but you'll feel like you did. It is really, and that is Sitka. Sitka could not be more different than our next port. I don't know what order these are in, but Skagway.
Yeah.
Skagway was what they referred to as the gateway to the gold rush. So back in the day, everybody knows when you think about Alaska in the old days, you think about people panning for gold, and that's real. And a lot of those people, Skagway's population is really small. I don't know what it is, but one of you will Google it and tell me, but it's a few thousand. It's a small place. But in its heyday, it was 100,000 people moving through Skagway on their way to become what they believed was going to be millionaires with gold. And this is, in the 1800s. Skagway looks like you're still back in the old time Western world. And that community has worked hard to maintain the integrity of the originality of Skagway. It still has some of its preserved gold rush era building and architecture. You will be walking down these wooden plank walkways and sidewalks that have been there for well over 100 years. And you'll feel like you're back in the old West. A completely different experience from Sitka, which feels like Russia. And then there's Victoria. Victoria, for those of you who watch any of these shows on Hulu or Netflix where they do, Kurt, you could probably tell me this, but the series, all the different series where you get to see what it's like to be the royals and the queen is the star of the shows or whatever. Anyway, That made no sense, but somebody out there knows what I'm talking about.
I'm not following.
Yeah, you're not following it. You're not a big fan of the Royals. You know what?
I guess not. I guess not.
Well, I love them. I love them. But Victoria has all of these incredibly beautiful gardens and landscaping that is so lush and so overgrown and gorgeous. And it really is all designed around the influence that Victoria's under the influences of, which is the original British community. And so in 3 ports, you hit the Russian influence, you hit the gold rush influence, you hit the British influence, 3 completely different experiences. And then of course there's Juneau. And I always love to make sure Juneau's on the list because that's where I spent 4th and 5th grade. And I loved it. But here's what's cool about Juneau. Juneau has one of the largest populations, at least during September, one of the largest populations of whales in migration. And so it's not like, if anybody's out there right now who's booked on this cruise who's like, man, I just hope we can see a whale in its natural habitat. I'm telling you, you will see so many whales, you'll grow bored. That may not be true because they're spectacular. But the biggest things you see in Juneau will not be the cruise ship. It will be whales. They're just everywhere and they're huge. And we are working on nailing down a private whale watching tour just for our Sea Saints. So fingers crossed Royal Caribbean finishes their job and gets that done for us. So those are the 4 ports outside of, obviously, we start out in Seattle. But if you're not a Starbucks fan, there's nothing else to see in Seattle. I'm kidding. That's not true. But those 4 ports are going to be amazing. I don't even know, Kurt. I guess I should ask you this before we were on the call together, but have you been to any of those ports?
Yes, I have. I've been to Juneau and Sitka as well. I'm trying to think which other.
So you relate to what I'm saying about the Russian architecture and the influence?
Oh yeah, and I think I believe it's in Sitka. There's this incredible cathedral there to walk through, and it just like walking around it's a small town feel, but still it just feels like you're back in time a little bit, with it.
Yeah.
And I remember in Juneau that hiking to, I forget the name of the waterfall, but just an incredible waterfall. You can get on a little, they take you out over on a bus and you can go on a short hike, and just see some beautiful nature there. So.
Yeah. And if on your bucket list, if you're like in Alaska, here's the things I need to see a bear and I need to see a whale and I want to see a glacier. Awesome. We'll get the bears and whales on our journey up there and back. And the glacier is something you'll want to jump on to the excursions in Juneau. Mendenhall Glacier is there. I've been there many times as a little boy. It's where after church on Sundays, one of the things we would do is drive out to the glacier and take a picnic lunch and sit and watch it calving. You know what that is, Kurt? I don't know. Is that a term everyone uses? Chunks of ice falling off the glacier into the water. That's a glacier calving. And I'm sure that the ship captain will probably take us by a glacier or 2. And so we'll actually probably see some other ones calving along the way. But sitting out there, Mendenhall Glacier, where you can get really close, it's gorgeous. So whatever your bucket list is for this cruise, we got you.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Well, please, if there's any last minute questions before we wrap up, put them into the chat. Again, here's the if you want to make sure you're part of the Sea Saints travel, what do you call it, membership or club?
Sure, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Then there's in the comments there, and then obviously at seasaints.com. We'd love to get a few more, those remaining cabins filled, and so there is still some space.
So let me address that.
Yeah,
we actually don't have any of our cabins left. And so we passed our deadline and our cabins are all occupied now.
Okay.
However, there's a few left on the ship in general. And so if somebody says, well, wait, I had meant to book and I didn't, it'll say now on the website when you go to seasaints.com, which is how you book onto the cruise, or you can call us, and all that's on seasaints.com. Now it just tells you have to call us. So if you call and say, hey, I meant to get on Sea Saints, I see you don't have any cabins available. Those statements are true, but Jen can still grab you one. She just has to pull it away from the ship. And you don't want to try to book through the cruise line because then that leaves you completely out of all the Sea Saint events. So anyway, it's still doable. But yeah, our group is pretty close to closed.
Yeah.
And it's going to be awesome. I've heard from so many people who, I don't even think people have real questions now. I think they're calling with fake questions because they just want to talk to us and tell us how excited they are about going, which is awesome. But yeah, there is, if somebody goes, oh, darn it, I was going to tell my best friends, we can still make that happen for at least 2 or 3 couples, but they'll need to call in and ask Jen to make that happen.
Yeah. And then is there, just with other experiences in general, is there any time when we should expect some announcements on some other trips and experiences to consider?
For Sea Saints?
Yeah.
Yes. I can't give you a date, but everything is in the process of being put into the website so that people can go in there. What we'll usually do is we will announce it ahead of time to give existing Sea Saints who are subscribers, members, whatever we call them. I will let the Sea Saint community tell us what we should call ourselves. Sea Saints. I don't know. We'll give everybody. Okay, so maybe I should tell you this. Those who are booked on Alaska, you'll be the very first ones to be told about the next trip. You'll be the first one to get the chance to book on it. We will always prioritize those who are traveling with us. There are plenty of Sea Saints who have signed up, but just for whatever reason couldn't make it to Alaska. The dates don't work, whatever. But you guys who are booked on the Alaskan cruise will be offered it first. And if that doesn't fill up the space that we've allotted, we're trying to keep these Sea Saint trips a little bit smaller and intimate so we can have it's just a different experience, right? Anybody who knows us, and you know this, Kurt, we are more known for taking over entire cruise ships and filling them from the front to the back, every cabin 100%, 3,000 to 4,000 people. And we do that. We have some crazy awesome full ship charters in the process of being built right now. If you're a fan of magic, we have a big one. If you're a fan of stand-up comedy, we have a huge one, big celebrities, magicians, and comedians on those. So we are still building those. But this Sea Saints is really kind of our personal pet project because we do want to just gather a few and go out and have fun and get to know each other and travel the world. So as an Alaskan Sea Saint, you will get first invitation to the next one. You will be the first one to get to involve yourself in surveys when we're trying to decide between 2 locations. Because here's the honest truth. We love travel. I don't care where we go. So if you, as our Sea Saint community, say, I'd rather go here than here, we'll go to your place. If you've got a bucket list of places you've always wanted to go, and you haven't already told us, tell us, because that's really how we're picking them.
Yeah.
By the way, Kurt, do you have a bucket list destination?
Oh man, I mean, I'm intrigued by anything Europe or Australia. Of course, the Antarctica. I mean,
that would be life changing.
Got to figure that out. Yeah, I mean,
Antarctica is
to knock that continent off your list, and you're.
I mean, it's not even on people's list. I mean,
right?
It's where penguins live.
Yeah.
But yes, we have uncovered an opportunity that I will say it's probably not very low priced. I think it's going to be a hard one for some of us. But it's going to be one of those things that it will change us. It'll change you if you get to go there. And apparently we have a thing with cold climates because we're going from Alaska to maybe Antarctica. But you know, everything you just described. Have you been to the Mediterranean? Have you done a Mediterranean?
I mean, I've been to the Holy Land, and so sort of. I've touched the water.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. But yeah, I see Saints will definitely hit, the Mediterranean, Turkey, Greece.
Yeah, that'd be an epic trip.
Italy. Yeah, there's some beautiful stuff over there. I mean, we always make sure it's a safe place to go. We won't hit Mexico anytime soon because we're super cautious about where we go. I wouldn't really advise anybody at this exact moment to go there, but what do I know? But we are going to Alaska.
That's awesome.
Are we inside 60 days now, Kurt?
Let's see. It's the 14th, so not quite. It's September 14th, right? So we're a few more days,
Okay.
and then we'll be there.
Almost there.
Yep.
All right. Well,
So,
so everybody who's booked, you should be getting some information quickly about those things that we talked about, the exact hourly schedule, the merchandise, and the private excursions.
love it.
That's coming.
And again, there's the in the comments or on the screen is the if you're maybe you're not coming to Alaska this time and you want to be on the list to know as soon as possible. For those not on board with us in Alaska, definitely go to the seasaints.com/membership and join us and let's grow this group a little bit more, and it'd be awesome. So
Yes, so fun.
cool.
Kurt Francom, I'm looking forward to your presentation.
Yeah.
I tell this to people all the time, and they could probably get tired of saying, but you really are the Barbara Walters of LDS community.
Well,
you have interviewed such incredible people at such incredible levels that I just can't wait for whatever you're going to share with us that, maybe you haven't shared with others before. Give us a little insight.
No, it's definitely going to be unique, and there will be some interviewing involved. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Cool.
So, okay. Well, thanks, Troy. This has been a great live stream, and I'm sure we'll figure out a reason or two to maybe jump on here again between now and September, or
well, I would say we should talk again here, and for the guests and everybody, once we've released the schedule and all those things, and and we'll just give everybody a little bit more insight into the excursions themselves, and what you can expect from them if you want to go with us.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll do
that. Right. Awesome. Well, thanks, Troy, and thanks to everybody for tuning in. And make sure you subscribe to the channel, give this live stream a thumbs up, and we'll continue to share some things on this YouTube channel that you don't want to miss. So thanks, everybody.